Greetings, everyone. Tim Anderson here, aka Renfell, and welcome to the latest stand-up update for Project Dramond. It is Wednesday, June 30th, 2021. Chris, do you want to come say hi in the update? We'll let her do her stand-up first because she's on the couch with her phone. So she's coming over to say hi now. Oh, she's reading news, she said. What did you work on this week? Oh, you're doing the tower drafts, yeah, for the city of Parthona. She's working on drafts of different types of towers for the Circle of Mage Towers. I gave her some concepts of different like elf towers and stuff, and then you finished the castle piece. So
hmm
like 3 days ago. So she's been working on castle drafts. All right, you can go read your news now. Thank you.
You're dismissed.
You're dismissed, Chris. I just got the finger. um, I have worked on more maps, and then I actually started working on the book. So I've done 2 sessions on the prologue of the book. I'm going to try to get that ready for the ahead of the playtesting group for the um, tabletop because it does set the tone for what's going on in the city of Parthana with the plague and everything else. And you're getting introduced to some of the main characters. So like you're reading Chronicles of Dragonlance, you get introduced to the main characters over the first couple of chapters. So I'm kind of doing that with the prologue and at least introducing you to some of the main characters and what's going on in the city. That's a good place to start the campaign off. And also, for those of you watching, we have officially announced the playtesting. We're going to kick that on August 4th, and we're currently taking applications for playtesters. So if you want to join us testing that, then you'll want to go ahead and fill out an application. Just check the Project Dramond playlist here on YouTube. It's what I think it's the video from Wednesday, which we're recording this on the 30th. So it's the video that went out this morning. It describes the process, and there's a Patreon post that goes along with that, so you can also check out Patreon. So that's what I'm working on. I'm working on probably the next between this week and next. I'll try to get the prologue wrapped up by the end of next week. And then I've already got all my maps ready to go. And so the next step for me is then going to be preparing the actual um, campaign document. So the PDF, the digital version. I don't want to call it a rule book because it's not really a rule book, although it's more of a lore setting because it explains all the races and the lore of the world and the classes and so it's kind of like a handbook or a guidebook, but I need to come up with a name with it because you can't call it Player's Handbook. Um, so we have to come up with a name for it, which I haven't figured that part out yet.
Here, what does D&D call it in their
Yeah,
starters?
you can't use anything related to
I
D&D
know.
because they will sue your ass off.
I know.
They call it a Player's Handbook.
They No, they call it the starter set rulebook
Well,
in the
that's
starter
different.
set.
Yeah, that's the starter set. So we'll have to. I'll come up with a name for it before we get to the point where I'm ready to give that PDF over to the playtesters. So that's what I've worked on. What have you worked on?
Buildings. I got the. At least I think that was for this week's. I don't know. It's all a blur. Got that one issue figured out with the one building where it was disappearing. Figured out a workaround around that. Which actually might be good for performance anyways, because basically what it does is it just converts the entire building into one static mesh. So it acts as one piece as opposed to, whereas if you make it a blueprint, it still has all the pieces within it. Whereas when you convert it to a static mesh, it's literally, boom, that building. So once I get a building completed all the way through, I might do that. I don't know. For performance reasons, I don't know if it makes a difference. I haven't researched any of that part yet. I'm not noticing any lagging or anything like that when I play, so but there's also not any details or characters or anything like that. So performance is very far in the future. But like Monday, so this first of the week started working on the tavern. Got a pretty good chunk of it banged out today too. It's going to be a little bit more, because this is not a very, in my mind, and we've talked a little bit about it. It's not like a rich village or anything like that. So there's not these little buildings aren't going to be real fancy. Like obviously, like the church building will be pretty fancy and whatnot, and the I'd have to look at the map to remember what they were called. But like the tavern in this little build that I'm doing is probably the fanciest building. So I'm making it a little more intricate because it's a tavern. It's obviously had money coming in, so they spent a little bit more money on it. But like bookshop, simple. General store, simple. Blacksmith shop, pretty simple. So this one will take me a little bit longer, but I should I think I'd have most of it banged out by the end of the week, and then hopefully I can start talking with you about what else we need to do for the exterior type stuff for we're shooting for that mid-July timeline maybe of having that all put together to where we can do a big walkthrough or something.
Yeah, over the next couple of weeks, I'd say it's just going to be exterior stuff. So doing like environmental art, flocking is what it's called. um, but yeah, grass and trees and rocks and dirt paths and
Yeah, and since especially now that you've got the village map, I might actually take that and I might jump into like World Machine or yeah, it was World Machine I think. Can't remember now. My height map generator program that I have. And maybe go around and be like draw the basic shape of that because I think we're gonna just make that all one map, the village, and then we'll have zone lines within that because that seems like it would be simpler as far as the design aspect. That's what we're going for anyways.
I think we should be able to do
'Cause
that. I don't think it'll hurt performance because we're not doing a
it's
multiplayer
pretty
game.
it's pretty small. It's gonna be far enough in the distance. Things will be billboarding and whatnot. So yeah, I think it'll be fine.
Sounds good.
And we gotta play with this camera angle too, because and maybe twist the buildings because I want to see more of the building. In the original, I was just like, we just need to see the front of the building. But now that I've gone to all this work to make really cool buildings, I'm kind of like, I'd like to be able to see the buildings. So we got to work on that too.
All right.
Figure all that out.
Well, sounds like we both have our work cut out for us, and I'm yawning a lot, so I'm going to call this meeting a wrap. For those of you who are tuning in for the first time, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so you get updates for future content, and of course, check out the playlist and all the links below. And sign up for the playlist if you want to join us for the playtesting of the tabletop module number 1. And stick around because we will have a demo of the point and click adventure game ready soonish. No dates. Soonish. Thanks, everybody. See you next time.